This video will demonstrate recording a CICS virtual service in the CA DevTest Workstation. Before we get started with recording the virtual service, let's make sure we have a copybook for this transaction payload. Look at our copybooks. In the data folder, I've got my project CICS, a new project just for CICS transactions. And in the data folder, I've got a copybooks folder that has all my copybooks. The program I'm going to record is called Demo Get B, and there's the copybook. And this copybook looks like this. It's a typical COBOL syntax copybook that describes a data layout. This one's very simple. It's all character, pick X fields, all display fields. I also have to have a payload mapping file, and you can see here I've got this payload copybook mapping CICS.xml, and that looks like this. It's got mapping for quite a few different programs. The one I'm interested in is this one here called Demo Get B. So the name is Demo Get B. It has both a type request and a type response. And for both the request and the response, the copybook is in demogetb.txt. The important thing with this mapping for this CICS program is that the match type is metadata, the key is program name, and the value is the name of the program, as CICS knows it, demogetb. That's the name of the program that will be in the CICS link that we're going to record. So we're all set up. We can go and do our recording. I know the program I want to record, and I know the CICS region I want to record it in, so let's get started. I go into the VSE Recorder. I give it a name of Demo Get B. And I use the same name for the VSM. And I'm going to save the exported traffic when I do this recording for use later as demogetb.xml. So I choose a transport protocol of CICS LINK. This also allows me to do distributed transaction processing commands, send, receive, that type of thing. But in this demo, we're going to do a CICS LINK. And I can check the treat all transactions as stateless because they are stateless. And I can also check this allow duplicate specific transactions if I want to see duplicate transactions. I'm not going to bother with that one because I'm only going to record one CICS link. Now I have to choose the program or programs to virtualize or to record. Down at the bottom I can see that my mainframe agent has 3 regions with 1 LPAR. So 3 regions in 1 LPAR are connected, and that's what I expect. So to indicate the program I want to record, I can do it one of 2 ways. I can choose it from a list that's defined to CICS, or I can add it manually. Let's look at choosing it from a list defined to CICS. CICS can have thousands of programs defined, so it's best to give it a prefix before I start looking at the defined programs. So this tells Workstation that I want to see programs that are prefixed with demo, and I want to retrieve 100 at the most. So here's my LPAR S0W1, and here's my regions, and CICS TS53 is the region I want to record in. So I'm going to look at those programs, and there's all the programs that start with demo. And there's Demo Get B. So before I choose the program, I can decide whether it's LINK or distributed transaction processing. I'm going to use LINK, and then I can put in one of these filters. The LINK transaction ID and LINK system ID are parameters that may be on the CICS LINK statement. I might have CICS LINK tran ID XYZ, and I would put XYZ in here. If I wanted to only record things, CICS links that have those parameters specified in the link. There's the EIB transaction ID, which is the transaction ID of the current running transaction in CICS. And I can also filter on a user ID. I don't need any filters at this time, so I'll just double click on this and it adds it into the programs to virtualize. Alternatively, I could click the Add button and type in the program name, choose the CICS region and the LPAR, and add the filters. So now I hit Next, and it starts recording. So now while it's recording, I need to run the CICS transaction. I'll just go ahead and run it from a green screen. It could come in from any source, as long as the transaction gets run in CICS. I'll run it from a green screen. I've run the transaction that uses that program, demogetb, and I see I have one CICS link recorded. Click Next. It defaults to having the CICS copybook data protocol for both the request and the response. I'm going to leave those since I want to use the copybook data protocol. And now I have to tell it where to get things. The copybooks are in this data copybooks folder. And the mapping is in the data folder, payload copybook mapping CICS XML. The encoding I need to use is IBM 037, and I can let everything else default. My COBOL source uses the standard columns in COBOL, starts in column 6 and ends in column 72. And I'll click Next. And my virtual service is created. So let's open the virtual service image and take a look at it. So here's the virtual service image. I have my CICS link, and the copybook was used looking at the request, the COM area that makes up the request for the CICS link, and it filled in these fields out of the copybook. On the response, there's both a meta or a default response and a exact match response. In this response, it knows that for the request, it's going to match this balance account number to 1 to get an exact match. Otherwise, it will use the meta match. And here's where the copybook is really handy. I can go into the response and I can edit it based on the copybook layout rather than trying to edit a large block of EBCDIC text. So I can see here the balance in the copybook is here. And there's the average balance. Here's the account number that DevTest recognized as a good candidate for a magic string. So it created it as a magic string. And that's as easy as it is to record a CICS virtual service in the DevTest Workstation.